Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be kind of a bit of a serious topic to talk about. I've been meaning to do this for the longest time, and I feel like this video a lot of people can relate to, and hopefully somehow I can help at least one person out by doing this video. So if you happen to like this sort of content, please let me know in the comments, because I'll definitely do more videos like this. So pretty much today's video I'm going to be covering mental health and bullying / high school and that kind of thing, because we've all been there, all done that. So I kind of wanted to talk about something a bit relevant. So yeah, so just a bit of a backstory for all of you that are not aware. I went through high school and it was quite tough. I was bullied a fair bit. For a number of reasons. Number one, my voice is a little bit different. I don't know if you can pick up on it, but some days I sound very manly, if you will, and some days I sound happier, and it all depends on my mental health. If my depression is at an all-time low, I will sound very deep, and you probably won't be able to understand a single word that comes out of my mouth. Otherwise, if I'm in a good mood, it's pretty, high, pretty, happy and that sort of thing. So growing up, I was a pretty happy kid, up until I was about 12, 13. I made the decision that I wanted to go to a school out of my region. And that was the biggest mistake I probably ever made, was going to a school where I knew nobody. So I was going in to a group of people that I had never met before, didn't know how to mingle. I was a shy person, so it was quite hard for me to make friends, but eventually I made some friends on the first day and all was good. Fast forward to 6 months into that year. I'm not going to go too far in detail, but long story short, I had a crush on a boy, and y'all know where that goes. So I had a crush on a boy, and I asked this boy out because my friends, and you'll come to terms to know that they were actually pretty fake, but friends at the time told me to go and ask him out in person. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I did, and the repercussions were terrible because he said no. He said, you're the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life, and I don't want to go out with you, and you're fat. So I was like, cool, great, love that for me. So after that happened, people started giving me crap for it because, oh, you just got rejected by a guy, like, oh my god, that's so, like I feel like that's so funny, sort of thing. Like, everyone just sort of follows the crowd. So every day I would go to school and I'd be sad as anything, and I would just try and put a smile on my face, try and get through every day. But it was near impossible every day for me to do, but I just put on a brave face and just pretend like everything was fine. And I just remember these boys that would pick on me and be like, ha, Charlotte's gonna be forever alone, like she's never gonna get a boyfriend, she's so ugly and so fat, like lose some weight, go to the gym, eat healthy, like go, stop eating food. So that's sort of when I sort of fell into quite a deep depression. I won't go too far in depth, but pretty much I fell into a deep depression at the age of 12, 13, which was shitty to say the least. And the way that I, dealt with all of this depression was I relied on music a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the time I'd listen to music, and that would sort of calm me down a little bit. And talking to people was good. I had my family, so I was very grateful for that, and still will be till, the day I die. But that's beside the point. So anyway, I was bullied all through year 7 up to middle of year 8. I thought, you know what? I'm almost 15. Like, I've got to get out of here. Like, I can't be here anymore. This is ridiculous. Like, why am I still here? So I left the school, said to my parents, I'm over it. I'm getting bullied all the time. This is a joke. I'm sick of it. So I went to a different school and started there in year 9. And that was the best school by far that I went to throughout my whole schooling life. Throughout all of my high school years, that was the best school I ever went to. So year 9 was pretty good. Yes, I was bullied a bit, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the shit that I'm about to tell you. But again, I was still in a deep depression, and I still had really bad anxiety, so making friends for me was really, really difficult. And you'll come to see that as I'm making this video. Excuse me. Hopefully I can edit some of this out, but if not, I'll get, it's fine. It's raw, raw, me. Yeah, so throughout year 9, it was pretty good. It's pretty standard. Like, I had a couple of friends that I was really, really happy with. And then I had this moment. Don't ask me why, because if I could go back and change it, I would have. But I wouldn't be the person I am right now. So I guess I'm sort of thankful I went through the crap I went through to get here. But just something just went through my head, and I was like, I want to go to a private school. And I think it was just I wanted to see what it was like, to see what the people were like, to see what the atmosphere was like, to see what the work was like and the teachers and just the school in general. So I was like, I want to go to a private school. So I wrote my parents a 5-page letter about how much I wanted to go to this private school, saying I'd work my butt off, I would get good grades, I would pay attention in class, I would try and make new friends and all that. So anyway, long story short, the next year I ended up going to that school. I was there for a year and a half, and that was the hardest year and a half of my life, to say the least. I can't even tell you. That was the biggest mistake I ever made, was moving to that school, and you will find out why in a second. But I thought it was the best decision at the time, so I'm not gonna say I regret it, because, I wouldn't be the person I am right now, speaking to the camera, so it's fine. But it is quite emotional for me to talk about, because not a lot of people know this. And if they do, it was in the past sort of thing, like I've told them ages ago. So throughout this private school I went to, I had a bunch of girls that I knew from kindergarten and from primary school. So I mixed with them, and I was sort of like the crowd leader of that group for a little while. And then rumours came out that I did YouTube and that my voice is really manly and all of that stuff, and people just picked on me because I was the new girl in the school, so I didn't really have like my group of friends. Like, I did have a group of friends, but then it turns out they weren't as amazing as I thought they were, and they weren't that supportive. Yes, there were a couple of girls in that group that I will never have a bad thing to say about, just because I like to think the best in people, and still to this day I like to think the best in people, but it was just a shitty situation that I was put in, and I would go to school every day, I would get my books out of my locker, and no joke, people would literally throw the books out of my hands, throw them all over the floor, my pens would go everywhere. Nearly every day at school I would be in class and boys would pull my chair out so I'd fall flat on my ass, or they would throw pens at me. And I just remember vividly this one time in English class, I was year 10, I remember it so well, it actually scares me, because I can picture it so accurately. I was sitting in English class and I had a couple of girls on this side and there were a couple of guys here, and I could hear people talking about me, but I didn't really, I tried to concentrate on what we were actually, learning, because that's the point of school, but long story short, they must have been talking about something and were just laughing their heads off, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then one of the guys had the nerve to throw a bottle of water over my head, so I was saturated from head to frickin' toe, and then he threw fruit at me, so like scraps of fruit at my face. Long story short, I asked to go to the bathroom and I was bawling my eyes out, absolutely bawling. And I just remember this one girl who is an absolute sweetheart, and I'll never have a bad thing to say about her, because she was so lovely. She probably noticed that someone was crying, and I came out of the stall, or I came out of the bathroom, whatever, and she said, "Are you okay?" And at first I was like, yeah, it's fine, like I'm just having a shitty day. And then I broke down in tears, and she took me to the counsellor's office. And she was like my friend for a little while there, but she was kind of, I don't know how to say this, she was kind of in the popular group at school, so she would hang out with her popular friends, but in classes that I was with her, we would chat, and we would we would talk, and we would say hi, and she was just lovely. So that sucked, because she, the people in her group didn't like me. A lot of people didn't at this school. So anyway, after that, I tried to get counselling, it did nothing for me, and then I sort of went off the rails, hung out with the wrong people, and started sort of becoming the person I didn't want to be. And I'll admit it, I made rumours about people. I would talk crap, like I would lie, and I'm not proud of it. I'm really not proud of it, but at the time, I felt like I needed to either fit in or just I was going to get bullied for the rest of the time I was there. So I made up these rumours and all that sort of thing. And at the time, my depression was just at an all-time low. I felt very, very, very suicidal. I'm just going to put it out there. I was very, very suicidal, and multiple times I wanted to end it all. I wanted to end my life, and I thought that there was not a lot, at the end of the tunnel. I thought I'd be depressed forever, sort of thing. So yeah, long story short, I have gone through depression for, 7-8 years now, and I know how it feels. I know how it feels to feel alone. I know how it feels to feel like you've got nobody. I know what it feels like to feel like you are a burden, but I am telling you from somebody who has been through it, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you are going through depression, I am truly so sorry, because I know how it feels, but you will find something that makes you happy. And it's so hard for me to talk about because I went through so much shit, and I still do get shit to this day. I just try to ignore it, try to be the better person, try and be mature about it, because at the end of the day, they are making you feel like shit because their life is terrible, because they are insecure and they feel like they can put you down to make them feel like a better, bigger person and a tough person, and that's definitely not true. So if you're sitting here watching this video thinking that you are a burden to the world, please, there is somebody that loves you. Your parents love you, your friends love you. If you have a partner, your partner absolutely adores you. Like, do not think that you are a burden to anybody, and do not feel like you don't have a place in this world. You were brought onto this world for a reason. You're brought in this world for a purpose, and you just have to live it. I know shitty times are bad. I've been through a lot of it, but it will get better. I'm telling you straight up.